Brendan and Ben join us now. Hello, lovely to have you both on the show. Now, I have to say, both of you, James and I can't wait because, Brendan, your potty mouth and live telly, I mean, this is just going to be chaos, isn't it?
I don't know where you're getting that impression from, Anita. I'm a good Catholic boy.
Now, Ben, how do you direct somebody? Can you direct, or what's the idea of tonight?
That's a great...
There you go.
No,
Let's throw
James,
that to the crew. Barbara, cut wide. There you go.
James, the whole crew is here watching this, and that's a great question. Can you direct, Ben?
You can have a go, Brendan.
But
You have to try and keep up with him.
What's it like to direct the Mrs. Brown's Boys crew?
It's a privilege to direct the Mrs. Brown's Boys crew. A finer bunch of men and ladies you couldn't hope to ask for.
You have no idea what he says to us. And nothing like that.
We've caught you. I mean, obviously it must be great fun because we get a sense of that just watching it. But
it is.
The pre-recorded shows have a live feel, and I'm sure deliberately. So, have you got lots of naughtiness up your sleeve that you're preparing, or are you just going to see what happens? I mean.
Oh, gosh, no. I think it's important, you know, to be professional and try and stick to the script. What? No, we have a script reading at the start of every time we do an episode, and we kind of call it the guideline. Mm-hmm. And it builds from there. And I have to say, Ben makes a great contribution, a wonderful contribution to the comedy element, in that he doesn't attend most of it. So we get on with it. No, we're very lucky. It's great fun for us to do. We've had the same crew since we started.
You really are a family as well, aren't you, Brendan? Just explain how many of you are related in the crew and in the cast.
Everybody. Even those who aren't related are sleeping together. No, we have. Buster is my son. Marie is my daughter. Kathy's my wife, who plays my daughter in the show, and I play her mother, which gets very weird. And then Sharon McGugan is my daughter-in-law. Trevor's my son-in-law. Betty is my daughter-in-law. Winnie is my sister. It's just, you know, we're a firm believer in keeping it in the family.
But the character that you play, the lead character, of course, was actually written for an actress, wasn't it? And it's because she didn't turn up. That's the reason why you just said, I'll do it.
That's absolutely right, James. I wrote for a fantastic actress, actually, who's since passed away, God love her. And she had an infection at the time and she couldn't turn up. So I said I'd just dub. We were doing it for radio. So I said I'd overdub her voice. And just to make it a bit more authentic, I tried to do a Dublin dealer, like, hello, nice to see you. And when we went to the edit, it was the editor that said, oh, here's the actress playing Mrs. Brown. I said, stop. I said, that's me. And he said, you've got to keep that voice. And
what do you put the success of this to? Because what is it? It's because it keeps it in the family, the same people that are involved in it since the beginning. What is the success to it? Is that? I
think it's just because there's very little on television, maybe. I know. Look, I think everybody knows an Agnes. Somebody like Agnes. It's either an aunt or a granny or a mother, and everybody knows a little bit of Agnes, and she's not. He said mother, not me. So if she's watching Mrs. Kellett, he said mother. There's that aunt that we all have that, you know, when you hear she's coming to the wedding, you go, oh, my God. She'll be fine at the start, but as soon as there's one or two drinks, she'll be up on the table dancing and waving her knickers in the air, and, you know it's going to... And I think there's a little bit of that, but as well as that, I also think there's a warmth about Agnes. There's something about it that, you know, she absolutely adores her children. And I think that's her redeeming factor, is that, you know, whatever else she does, at the end of the day, she actually loves her kids.
Because the story is that it's supposed to, well, resemble your family and your mum as well. Is that the case? Because you grew up in quite a large family with 11 of you, so you can't be short of stories for moving things forward in the future.
No, and you know, I used to say no when people would ask that, because my mother was quite extraordinary, having started her life as a nun and then going on to have 11 children before she left the convent. And she also became the first woman elected for Labour in the Irish Parliament, and at the same time we lived in a council house, so she was quite extraordinary. And she had a degree from Galway University, so I'd often say no, Mrs. Brown is... But actually, I think Mrs. Brown, in many ways, is my mother, but probably without the education. but definitely she has that wisdom that my mother had.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, your mother was a formidable woman, the first female MP in the Irish Parliament, isn't that right?
Yeah.
She was quite amazing. But Ben, really, as the director, I know you've worked with the same team, you've been there from the start. Just how challenging is your task? You've got to hold this thing together.
That's what I meant to say. Exactly.
Yeah, it has its moments. We're really looking forward to doing it live. We actually had a day rehearsing with the camera crew and with sound and lights and everyone yesterday. And we had a run through yesterday evening and we got through it, much to our mutual astonishment, I think. And my job, I think, on this one, particularly when we're going live on Saturday night, is just to keep it going from our end, because there's no trouble at all this end keeping it going. There is no worry at all.
We just try and follow instructions as we get from upstairs. Ben?
I'm sure, Brendan, butter wouldn't melt. Well, listen, Ben, Brendan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Best of luck.
Best of luck to you.
Anita,
Can't
I thought
wait.
you were great. I thought you were great on Strictly. You were absolutely fantastic.
What
my
a darling.
my wife did Strictly for a week.
She did,
and,
yes.
She was wonderful. And James, you got to get me on to do the 1 minute omelette. I'm brilliant.
Yeah, that was about 8 weeks ago. But anyway, we'll get you on here.
Come and see us on here. Come and see us. We'd love to have you on. Well, thank you both. Thank you so much for joining us, Brendan and Ben.
For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Things happen. You open beer bottles, you cut yourself. I accidentally punched him in the face once. You know, things happen. I mean,
That's actually not the worst thing that happened, because you threw up on stage, didn't you? Last week?
Oh, I'm sorry. I told
Although
that story.
the punching actually was worse. I was there for both, and I can assure you.